going to be minuscule. So we just got to go out and play really hard, do what we do, make our plays. Like I said, it's going to go like this. It's going to happen, and take care of the football, and don't let up the big plays on the other side either. I mean, it's really critical.
Steve, you talked last week about what have we done? And, we're a first-year program trying to get our message across. What would it mean for you guys and where you're at to beat a team like Penn State? In your third game here.
It's obviously, winning a game like this would be a tremendous thing for our program. I mean, that's just the way it is. But it also can't define your program, and you got to be careful with that. That's what happens sometimes when you play these kinds of games early on. A win is tremendous, but you can't make it better than it is, and a loss in these style of games doesn't define your team for where you move on either. I think what's important is that you go out here and you play your game, and you play it hard, and I think that's really critically important. And don't ride the roller coaster one way or the other too severely on it. It's one game in the course of a 11, 12 game season, and everyone is critically important, but everyone also doesn't define who you are in your future. It's still just a game, and you got to be careful with that.
So because you've had the background of being involved in big games, you've gone up against big programs in the past, does that enable you to say this is just a normal game versus something against a coach with a lesser amount of experience in this situation, and that maybe make too much of it? Does that give you the ability to treat this as normal or close to normal as possible?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I feel like I've been in these situations before, but all that's great. I mean, you still have to. It doesn't matter what I know. You know what I mean? It's what we can get done and managed. I mean, you're still going to have the emotions of these kids and the hype. I'm used to hype. I'm used to that. I'm used to the high and the low. It doesn't really rattle me, right? But to say our guys are used to that here, I don't know that it'd be a true statement, right? They've had a taste of it, but there's a difference between a taste and getting used to it, And there were times coming back here in the last couple of years. I'm sure were people there. I've been on the other side of this thing too. Are like, no matter what you tell them, they still feel like we're going to go in there and roll. We're going to go in and roll, right? I don't think that's the case anymore. I think now, because of what's been done here in the last couple of years and where we are, I think you're going to get teams' best shots now. You're not going to get that less than best shot that sometimes can happen. I anticipate that we will get Penn State's best shot. They're going to come in here. They're going to feel backed up against a wall. They're going to come off that game, and they're going to come into the stadium with a mindset of a must-win, as opposed to maybe coming down to play Temple. And so we've got to do a great job with our kids, to be able to understand that we've got to go attack that wave and sustain it in that wave. Let that wave happen, and then take this thing down to the fourth quarter and let this be a game in that fourth quarter. So it's a mindset,
Penn State doesn't change what it does a lot year to year, which is natural. We've had the same staff for forever. And you guys have Leffler and Peter who've seen them.
Yeah.
Could you assess how valuable that is to have a couple of Michigan guys who know what this program's about?
I mean, we have Matt Rule here, who's, probably no one knows him better than he does. So there's a familiarity with Penn State, and certainly a group of coaches that are experienced in this style of game. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to execution. It comes down to, the simplest things: getting your guys ready to play, having enough emotion to play the game, but also not too much that you don't execute in the game. This game won't come down to X's and O's. This game's going to come down to execution. Taking care of the football, playing hard, swarming on defense. I believe that. Not letting up big plays, and on the other side, making some big plays so you can tilt the field position. You got to get this thing. You can't play this game all day on a long field now. And that's what it'll come down to. I believe that. It always is that way, really. X's and O's just, you want to be sound in what you're doing. You want to have a good plan, but you want to make sure in a game like this, you give your kids a chance to feel comfortable enough to fight and not be paralyzed by schematics because you're trying to out-scheme somebody. Let the kids fight for the win. And that's something we need to be able to do.
You called this place, you called it our place before coming down to our place. What if it doesn't sound like our place? Or do you anticipate it not sounding like your place in a game like this?
You know, quite frankly, I mean, you know how I feel really? Like, I'd like to play it right out here on the practice field. I could give, you know, I don't care if there's 1,000 people in there or 60,000 people. I'd like to invite them to come play here on 10th and Diamond. You know, it'd be nice. So I'm not real overly concerned about, you know, what the crowd is, who the crowd is. It don't really matter to me a whole lot, you know. I just want to see us play really, really hard. That really matters, you know, how passionate we play this game.
But doesn't that affect the passion, the emotion? I mean, you're a football coach, you've seen this before.
I mean, I think when you play in an empty stadium, it can be flatlining to a degree, but you're going to play in a full stadium, and there's enough energy in a full stadium for everybody. And that's our home. And we had 30-something thousand Temple fans at the Villanova game. And we had almost 10,000 Temple students at the Villanova game. It certainly won't be less than that. So, you know, I think what we've shown is that Temple and the students and the Philadelphia community are going to support Temple. And so I feel like we'll have a great representation there, and the ones that are there are the only ones that matter anyways. So it'll be great.
Coach, when you talk about the hype, I feel like there's a lot of buzz around that say, you guys, this is the year that you guys can do this in Penn State. Do you like that? Do you embrace that? Does it excite you, or would you rather not that kind of pressure on you guys?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you know, I'm glad we're in the buzz and we're playing well. I mean, you know, you can't walk away from, you know, I don't want to backdoor in anything. We're going to go play this game nose up, and that's it. You know, we win the game, it'll be a great day. If we don't win the game, we've got to find out why we didn't. If we played hard with passion and our team looks the way it's supposed to look, and we've got to keep that development going, then that's the way that's going to be. But, you know, I mean, you know, I think I've been around this too long to you know, say, wow, geez, you know, I wish there was. Nah, how would you rather have it? Everyone tell you stink? I mean, I think at the end of the day, we're proud of where we are, okay? You know, it kind of reminds me of, you know, the Teddy Roosevelt quote, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's not the critic who counts. It's the guys in the arena that count. Isn't that what this is? I mean, it's our team in the arena. I mean, you're going to hold yourself open for criticism out there. You know, you can't always control which way that thing goes, but you don't want anything less because you're a competitor and you're a champion. And that's what this is about. So, no, I don't want to back into anything. Here it is. I mean, there's buzz around our program. It's great for our program. We're playing well. We're holding ourselves open this week. Who knows what that outcome's going to be? But you wouldn't want it any other way.
Steve, you talked about the Penn State defensive line and how big and experienced they are, but you're big and experienced as well on your offensive line, and you're an offensive line guy. Are you excited to see how that battle sort of plays out?
Yeah, I mean, that's why you play the game. I want to see it, you know. But you know, we're not that experienced up front, you know. But I like our offensive line. I think that we're getting better every week. I'm scared to death of our depth, but our starting 5 guys, they're going to line up and play now. They'll play, and it is what it is. They're going to make some plays, and we're going to make some plays. You know, we just got to make a few more down the home stretch of this thing.
Coach, did that lightning delay do something? Take it back to last week. I mean, your team looked a lot different. You played 9 minutes, you come out after an hour and a half, and it's like a whole different team. What's going on in the locker room?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's kind of what I said earlier, you know, and we've got to do a better job with that. You know, you kind of Saturday night, you know, your Saturday night at 6 o'clock, you went into the stadium, stadium's dug down in the ground, there's nobody there, you know. I think, you know, and I'm not happy about it. I think we kind of came out just kind of like, you know, lethargic, you know, hanging around all day in a hotel in some part of Ohio, and there wasn't a lot of electricity in the stadium. I mean, to be quite frank with you, okay? And that's not good. I mean, I'm not happy about that. And we went back into the locker room, and we addressed it. And our kids responded, boy. I mean, they got it, and they responded. And they came out, and on both sides of the ball, I mean, we came out and attacked that game after that lightning delay the way we should have attacked it in the beginning.